This video is going to be disturbing for a lot of people. Hey, do you support slavery? Okay, if your answer is no, then you don't support alimony.
Well, if I kill myself, at least I don't have to pay my ex-wife anymore.
That says a lot of good things for all the people who have been supporting me all this time. But I started sobbing hysterically. Hey guys, I have been removed from the list of speakers on the VidCon site. I even confirmed that she attacked me from the beginning, and that this entire time I've just been defending myself. They say you're a slut, so obviously you wanted it.
Today, we examine a YouTuber by the name of Onision once again. He is considered by many to be the most hated person on the platform YouTube, and that judgment can very well be considered to be true. This is the third part in a series examining the online activities of this particularly infamous individual. Part 1, we discussed his divorce with his wife Sky and the origins of his YouTube career. In Part 2, we discussed the chaotic and, in my opinion, abusive relationship that he had with a Canadian pop star named Shiloh. And in this part, we will cover the beginning of him acquiring his next partner during the year of 2012. The best way I can summarize the year I'm going over in this part, aka 2012, is with the term damage control as well as jealousy. It is not the pure horrific chaos that was the previous year. Instead, Onision took this year to try to convince his audience that everything he had done thus far was justifiable. Onision's public image was hurt due to his actions while dating Shiloh, and despite his early success on YouTube, around this time he began to drift away in popularity from those who he had previously been colleagues with. Greg couldn't ignore the idea that many people did not have a positive image of him, including other successful YouTubers, and would spend the next year trying to vindicate himself while establishing himself as the true victim. He failed at that, in my opinion. What he did succeed at was that he did find the perfect uwu victim in a new underage person. This person would be known at the time as Taylor Anderson. We are in the year 2012. Greg began the year by wiring Shiloh $1,100 to get a new passport. In Greg's head, they were totally gonna get back together, but instead, Shiloh used that money as well as the money she got from pawning off her engagement ring to get an Xbox. As I said, this year brought Onision a new main victim. Before meeting Greg, Taylor seemed to be a normal high school girl, with dreams of having a rich YouTuber daddy and going on trips to Fiji. Spoiler, everything will be completely different about Taylor from this time to the present, and not at all in a positive way. Before I get into the video, people have varying opinions on how to address Taylor, as Taylor is now Kai and trans and go by he, him, but I will refer to them by their identity in 2012. I think it's important to note the changes in someone over time when being in a relationship with someone like Greg. I also want to give the sense of what it was like to watch these events as they happened. Taylor had spent the previous year tweeting Greg a worrying amount, but Taylor started 2012 by tweeting that their New Year's resolution was to go vegetarian and to have Onision in their life. Taylor writes, "My hashtag 2012 wish is for @Onision to be a big part of my year." Looking back at these events, Kai described himself as a creepy fangirl. Taylor's wishes would come true in less than 2 months. Onision himself decided to start his new year by bashing alimony on social media on January 2nd. Note, Onision has been divorced for somewhere around 2 years now. Greg cannot let things go. I mentioned this in previous parts. An important trait of Mr. Jackson is that Greg overshares. Why he felt the need to give intimate details about his divorce to his young audience is confusing to me. But most of Greg's actions are confusing to me. Here's an example of one of Greg's social media postings about alimony. Alimony, for the greedy/shameless exes who never really loved you. The real turning point in the Onision drama came on January 8th with a video titled, "Horrible Rebound." In part 2 of this series, I went over the chaotic 3-week relationship Greg had with a then 26-year-old named Adrian. Not able to just move on or to leave it out of the public eye, despite it ending the previous year in mid-September, Greg attempted to further go after this woman with this video. Greg started the video by saying he wants to talk about rebounding because he does not want his viewers to make the same mistakes he made.
Hey, I want to talk about rebounding. The reason I want to talk about rebounding is for the sake of everyone watching this, so they do not make the same mistakes I have made.
In the video, he explained rebounding as,
rebounding involves two parties, normally, where one party has lowered their standards significantly due to them being lonely and desperate, and another party is taking advantage of that fact and dating them even though under normal circumstances that person would never be with them.
He proceeded to say that months ago he got out of a heavy relationship and was lonely and desperate.
The deadly combination.
He then listed the number of people this person slept with, as if anyone cared.
I decided to date someone who had slept with over 20 people prior to me, 18 men and 3 women, according to her.
He says that even though she slept with 4 times the amount of people that he had, that he overlooked this and still dated her. He also talked about how he has sex for love.
She never really had sex for love other than 3 times, which should have been a problem because I only have sex for love.
He also said she was previously a druggie and an alcoholic, and may even still be an alcoholic. He then said,
this individual decided to spread a bunch of lies about me, which should have been a flag when I read the lies she told about her first boyfriend, or one of her first boyfriends, where she cheated on him. And the fact that she cheated on someone should have also been a flag to me, but again, I was rebounding, desperate, and lonely, so I overlooked that.
He says everyone told him not to date her because
I talked to my mom, I talked to my sisters, I talked to my friends. Everybody was saying that it was a bad idea to be with her, because in their opinion, she was a total whore. To be only 26 and to have slept with over 20 people is ridiculous.
I like how he used other people as a scapegoat for calling her a whore. He went on to say that he forgave it.
Because she came up with a story saying, oh, I thought that was all I was good for, and that's why I did that. You sleep with people because you think that's what you're good for? Like, how low do you have to be to resort to sleeping around?
It's really all too much information on some girl nobody on YouTube had seen, and Greg made up a lot of lies about her. One of those lies being that Greg said that this girl tried to marry him over the internet.
And then she tried to marry me. She tried to marry me within 60 days of meeting her. Maybe it was 45 days of meeting her. Like, I'm not even talking about in person. I'm talking about over the internet. She tried to marry me, and I didn't see this as a big problem. I was like, well, I think we should wait at least a year.
Which, Greg was the one who wanted to marry her right away. He also said that she bragged to all her friends that she got with the Banana Man.
I know she was bragging to all her friends about who I am, the Banana Man. I know that she was bragging to everybody about how great I was in bed, and then suddenly completely turned on me and said that I was average to everyone once I dumped her.
Which, if you watch part 2, an email with her friend was leaked where she made fun of him in bed and the size of his dongle. He also insulted her hygiene. He said,
and something else I should have noticed as a warning sign is personal hygiene. Why didn't she wash herself? Horrible, horrible stench when we made love for the first time and the second time. I even got baby wipes. And I was saying, I use these to wipe my butt, and, if you ever want to wipe yourself after you go to the bathroom, you should do that too. But she didn't get the hint.
The video is disgusting, but the worst part is Greg addressing the fact that Adrian had said she felt pressured into having sex with him, which Greg says.
And of course, she goes to insinuate that when we did make love, that I was forcing her into it, that I was pressuring her into it, and she didn't really want to. That's funny coming from someone who slept with over 20 people. That's really funny. You shouldn't be extremely sexual with someone if you don't plan on being sexual with them, and then turn around and be surprised when they had sex with you.
He concluded the video with,
I know people who go through are far worse off than I am. But I laid down thinking I was with one person, and I got up realizing who I was really with. And I felt extremely violated.
This video received immediate backlash. The main takeaway from it was a line about Greg doubting he had pressured the young woman by pointing out the amount of previous partners she had, and insinuating that it made it unlikely. This led Greg to be labeled as a slut-shamer and a rape apologist. This would ultimately lead to a great drama Greg had with the upcoming 2012 VidCon later in the month. Not only did Greg shame this woman in the video, he also continued to go after her on social media. And on January 8th, Greg posted this. I once made the mistake of sleeping with a woman who slept with 18 men and 3 women prior. I was desperate and foolishly overlooked her past. I'm still paying for her lack of morals even today. He also posted, I was lied to. I was used. She tried to marry me under 60 days after we met. Why? Was she a gold digger? I forgave her for cheating on her ex. I forgave her for alcohol abuse and many other things. Why? I was so lonely, so desperate. I screwed myself over by even talking to her in the first place. It was my fault, and now I have to suffer with the knowledge that I gave someone so low, so rotten, so heartless, who lied about even liking me in the first place, the time of day. While this drama was going down, the obsession of the young Taylor continued. On January 9th, the teenager was worried about not tweeting Greg and wrote, I haven't tweeted at Onision in like 2 days, sad face. They had actually tweeted Greg twice the day before. On the Onision side of things, the 26-year-old man was unable to leave his past relationships alone. After his horrible rebound video, he continued to post about Adrian in an attempt to defend himself against his own words. Adrian had not really been public since the whole breakup. Here's a status he posted around the night. He posted, in my opinion, if you can't count all the people you slept with on 2 hands, you better be 40 plus, or quite frankly, my dear, you're a whore. AJ felt the need to respond to Greg's attack on her Google+, and she wrote, I honestly have no idea why I decided to start talking about this again. I haven't spoken to him not once since we broke up, and I haven't publicly spoke of him for a couple months now, and when I did, it was only as a rebuttal to something he said first. I wouldn't even know about this video's existence if it weren't for you guys commenting or sending me emails. I started watching the video, and I had to turn it off, because I found myself not taking it seriously, and laughing the entire 8 minutes I actually made it through. I realized that there is no point in even worrying about this crap, as he is halfway across the country. He is completely inconsequential to my life, and I have more important things to concern myself with. He is obviously stuck at home, lonely, and has nothing better to do with his time than conjure up old garbage to garner some extra attention from little girls. The only thing I can think of is that he saw a public post on something talking about a different ex-boyfriend, and he thought I was referring to him. Quite honestly, I don't even count him in the roster of ex-boyfriends I've had throughout my life. It was 3 weeks. Get over it and get some new goddamn material already. Greg's ego must have been extremely damaged by everyone disliking his horrible rebound video. So he posted a poll to social media asking his more than likely underage fans how many people they had slept with. Most of his viewers had slept with 0 people. As said in the previous part, Greg believes social media polls are a good source of facts, and not just some goofy fun thing to do on your Facebook or Twitter. Greg thinks he's conducting real census reports here, people. Then after this, around January 11th, Greg did a live show. There is a video of the highlights still up, where you can see Greg continuing to claim his ex-girlfriend, Shiloh, lied to him, and that he didn't know about whether or not she had sepsis.
Somebody thinks it's funny to keep saying, I love sepsis and premature babies. I don't have anything to do with that, so I don't know why you're bringing that up. Why would you bring that up? I don't, whatever. That has no association with me, other than I was lied to, or it was true, and I didn't know it was true, or a lie, or whatever. It's just why okay, that's like if somebody, that's like if someone says to Hillary Clinton, oh, I cheat on my husband, oh, that's what I do, when she didn't cheat on her husband. He cheated on her. So why is there a discussion over him doing something when he or she had no idea about it? Very bad example, I guess. I don't know. I'm just saying I'm being blamed for something that has, no real relevance to me because I was completely oblivious the whole time. So, I don't know. I'm eating for nothing.
He then danced around in his underwear.
Do you ever have any insecurities when posting videos, and if so, how do you deal with them? I disable comments, I disable ratings, and I say, you know what, I don't care! This video is stupid! Even though
Taylor's obsessive tweets continued towards her e-celeb crush in these days, and she tweeted on January 12th, "At Onision, sometimes I feel like I miss you, even though we've never met or talked. It's odd." Greg, doubling down on his need to prove himself always right, aka continue the damage control after all his chaos, did another live show on January 13th. In the live show, he begins by listening to his own bad music about domestic violence, and then turns to his audience and says,
"This is about women who are abused. You can't beat me." If you guys didn't know, I'm pretty hardcore women's rights.
Most likely convincing no one except 8-year-olds that he is a good defender of women's rights. Lacey Green, a sex-positive YouTuber at the time, responded to Greg's obvious shaming actions on January 15th with an article titled, "Onision the Slut Shamer." This article is a more humorous look into the abusive character that is Greg, calling him an enormous ignoramus for his flawed beliefs. She wrote, "It's obvious to me, and many of you, that Greg is full of shit. He decides some arbitrary definition that sounds good to him and shames viewers who don't fit his wacko framework. My favorite part is when he turns around and abuses viewers who respond with hurt and disgust. Some of that 'you had it coming' rhetoric we rarely hear. Wow, what a cool guy. I love it when people impose their made-up holier-than-thou morals on my sex life." Lacey would not be the only person on YouTube to criticize Greg over the coming years. Greg tried to further his attempts at damage control for their horrible rebound video, and on January 16th, he posted a video titled, "My Foolish Words." He started the video by announcing,
"This channel is not about making me look good. It is not about boosting my ego. It is about me being honest and transparent to all of you." And in that, I have to admit a mistake that I made quite a few days ago.
Greg continued by saying the horrible rebound was taken out of context to make him look bad.
What I did was I insinuated that people who sleep around don't really have a right to say that somebody pressured them into having sex considering the odds are stacked against them. This is ridiculous. It doesn't matter how many people you have sex with, you can still say that someone pressured you into having sex and have merit in saying that.
He says real victims hear that all the time from the person that made them a victim.
It's ridiculous because people who are actually victims hear that all the time. From the people who made them victims, from other people who don't know what the hell they're talking about.
He says they say,
"You're a slut. So obviously you wanted it because you're a slut."
He then said it doesn't matter, you could still be violated, even if you're a prostitute. He then apologizes to everyone that he hurt by saying these things.
It doesn't matter if you're a slut. It doesn't matter if you're a paid prostitute even. You can be violated. And you have every right to stand up for yourself if that is indeed what happened.
He then wanted to verify to everyone that no one he ever met ever accused him of rape.
So to everyone I hurt by suggesting otherwise, I'm sorry. The topic I was specifically referring to, I have made very clear. No one I've ever met has accused me of rape. And so I shouldn't be insecure about being called whatever names people choose to call me, people I've never met in my life. Everybody knows, or most everybody knows, it's a ridiculous accusation considering my stance for such a long time on rape. I despise rapists.
He then continues to say that rape is the worst crime in his opinion.
Rape is the worst crime in my mind. The only thing that competes with that is genocide.
He ends the video with another apology.
I'm sorry, I'm humiliated. And for everyone who lost faith in me, I completely understand. You deserve so much better than the trash that I fed you. So whether you forgive me or not, I'm sorry.
However, despite Greg's best, yet still bad, efforts, the damage was already done. To possibly distract either himself or his viewers, Greg put on yet another live stream on the 17th, where, the only way for me to describe it is, Greg goes nuts. After this stream, possibly due to his inability to get anyone to agree with him on the Adrian shaming front, Greg turned his attention fully back to his ex-wife Sky. On January 19th, Greg began to talk about alimony once more, this time directing the conversation specifically to Sky. He made several tweets about alimony before uploading a video entitled, Her Easy Life on this day. In the video, Greg starts off by saying he intends to
I tend to share pretty much everything in my life with you, but I've been holding something back for some time, and I don't exactly know why, because I should have told you this a long time ago. My ex-wife, in the divorce, she pursued me for $150,000, saying that what we had was a family business.
He goes on to imply that Sky was lazy. He says he will be paying her alimony for the next 5.5 to 6 years.
So I'm going to be paying her for the next 6 years, 5.5 years, monthly, which sucks because, you know, survival isn't the easiest thing in the world sometimes.
He then says she ended up with $90,000 over the course of 6 years, which is less than $30,000 a year, Greg. Greg concludes if you ask someone to sign a prenup and you fall for them, crying and telling you you never loved them.
That's the reality, guys. When you ask someone to get a prenup and they cry, saying that you don't really love them, etc., and you fall for that, you're a sucker, like me.
Later that day, Sky replied to Greg in a long Facebook status. In the post, Sky says the past year and a half have been the most difficult times she had experienced in her life. She says she got help, talked to family, got legal advice, and found a great counselor to help her through everything. She informed her readers that she now found her true dream and won't let anyone put her down ever again. She says, I refuse to play this continued mind game of an abusive cycle. She says she will keep quiet on her side of the story because she does not want to be part of the drama. She began to receive regular harassment and threats from angry Onision fans. Some of the more extreme threats include death and... After all this, Greg hosted another live stream on that same day, yet again. In the live stream, when he was asked if he would still be friends with Sky, he said he does not want to talk about her because...
I honestly don't really want to talk about Sky. Just because, like, we're divorced now, and we both just need to kind of, like, go our own separate ways. So yeah, anything I can say, it wouldn't be good, because I don't have a lot of good things to say about how that ended.
He then added that when he filed for divorce, she fought the divorce and lied.
Like, I filed for divorce, and she fought it, and lies occurred, and I just don't want to go beyond that, but it was really unpleasant to see, because I'm going into it. I just want to say I'm a consistently honest person, and it's sad to see other people not be so much.
He also talked about Shiloh in this stream.
And I'm still, like I said, on good terms, or I feel like I'm on okay terms with Shiloh. We're not talking, but we're on okay terms, in the sense that, you know, she was dishonest, and I just decided to kind of disassociate myself, just for the sake of not being lied to and not breaking her heart anymore. Because this is one thing that I do that is cruel to women. I do this, and it's totally not appropriate. I'll date a woman, and then I'll find something that I don't like about her, and then I'll dump her. And then I'll ask her out again, and then I'll find something else I don't like about her, and then I'll dump her. And then I'll find something else, and I'll dump her again and again and again and again. I broke up with Shiloh probably 15 times.
He also spoke of AJ in it.
What is your worst mistake? That would be my ex. The ex before Shiloh. I cannot look on that fondly whatsoever. I was so disgustingly desperate. You know, it was, I mean, I made a video of me crying when we started dating. And it's like, who cries when they start dating unless they're really lonely and really desperate, or they're just really emotionally unstable?
Funny enough, Greg gave himself some good advice, saying,
if you are someone of my age, you should probably avoid being with somebody who's younger, like much, much younger, in the sense that you guys aren't on the same level mentally as far as emotional development and so forth.
He also gave details about respecting people saying no to him.
I'm totally against this. I'm totally against people being violated and all that. And if anybody's ever said no to me, I say, okay, no problem. Because I cannot be aroused by resistance. It's just... And I wish everybody was like that. I wish everybody was turned off by people being resistant, because it's like, how could you be attracted to someone who doesn't want to be with you?
During the ending of his relationship with Adrian, Greg had left a worrying amount of voicemails to her. I discussed and went over these in part 2, but the same day of this livestream, AJ publicly released the voicemails after hinting she would do so. Adrian later explained she kept the voicemails because she knew Greg would eventually cross the line and make a video about her, similar to the horrible rebound one. Greg soon responded to the voicemails by saying he believed it's illegal to release private voicemails, despite previously sharing Shiloh's private voicemails to him a few times previously in videos. After listening to the voicemails, Greg uploaded a video titled, Onision Voicemails Released.
Because releasing someone's private voicemails doesn't really make you look good. And on top of that, these voicemails only confirm what I've been telling you guys all this time. I mean, my honesty is so locked in tight at this point that it's pretty undeniable. I confirm that she was slandering me. I confirm that I've been telling the truth this entire time. I even confirm that she attacked me from the beginning, and that this entire time I've just been defending myself. People don't want to look at me as a person who's a victim. But now, the evidence is overwhelmingly clear.
He tells the haters that are now fans.
Welcome back.
Reactions to the voicemails were mixed. Some listeners believed the voicemails showed how manipulative and controlling Greg was, while others thought it showed how loving and lonely he was. Greg's drama continued the very next day after the voicemails, with Greg tweeting about Judge Judy. Greg tweeted, "Where is Judge Judy when I need her? Even if she said I was wrong, it would be an honor to be ripped a new butthole by that gorgeous woman." These tweets would lead to some more fascinating stuff. Foreshadowing, one might say. While trying to suck Judge Judy's virtual pee-pee, Greg also posted multiple statuses regretting his relationship with Shiloh, saying that she was the only woman who truly loved him. He writes, "Most people hated her, telling me to leave her. But they didn't get it. She taught me what it was to really love someone. I would give my life for 5 happy years with her. Just 5 fucking years. I would give my life. Shiloh was the only one I dated who ever loved me." Due to Greg's attacks on his exes, popular YouTuber Damon Fizzy began to tweet at Greg about how damaging he is and how his life is a mess, writing, "At Onision, I realize your life is a mess, so you try to destroy everyone else's lives around you. But it's time to grow up and get it together." Despite Greg publicly bashing all those around him, he wanted Damon to write him privately. The hypocrisy. D-Fizzy would continue over the years, and later in 2012, Greg would write a long social media post telling him to leave him alone. But going forward, bad news would hit Greg on January 20th. He posted that he had been removed from the VidCon speaker list. Along with posting about the VidCon disappearance, Greg also emailed Alicia, the sister of his ex-wife Sky, on that very same day, asking her to collaborate with him, and informing her that he's still totally dating Shiloh. I can't wrap my mind around the mindset of a man who thinks you can publicly shame and humiliate someone's sister and expect that sister to want to ever speak to you. Due to his fans attacking Sky, Greg also made his only attempt to rectify his actions with a post asking his fans to not send her rape threats on January 21st. Remember, damage control is the theme of this year. While this was going on, Greg continued the tale that he created in his own head that he and Shiloh were going to get back together again. And around or on the 21st of January, he also posted to Facebook asking her to come back. If you recall in part 2, Shiloh says the relationship was over when she went back to Canada the previous year. 2 days after this post, Sky responded yet again to the hate she was receiving with another Facebook post on the 23rd. She wrote, "I should not have to get on here to defend myself. This is sick and this is wrong." She says everything that needed to be said was said through the court system under oath. She says the court system, lawyers, her counselor, and the judge know what really happened. Everything Greg is saying was already presented to them, and they made their decision. She says this is all in the court documents, and that she takes the opinion of a professional counselor over people that know nothing about her life. She says she had evolved and grown since the dark time in her life. Despite Sky's desire to be private and move on, Greg would continue to publicly bash her over the course of the year. Around the same time of Sky's post, Greg posted a video about him being removed from the VidCon speakers list called Censorship at VidCon vs. at Onision, which was later named Parents vs. Onision. In the video, he explained what had happened.
Hey guys, I have been removed from the list of speakers on the VidCon site, and I was recently contacted by someone who represents VidCon. What they said was that I was removed because parents were complaining.
Greg concluded that he was removed due to the fact that they did not want him to share his opinions.
because they don't want me to say anything that's on my mind.
He then compared his comedy and 2011 event appearances to Shane Dawson's.
I find Shane Dawson to be very, very hilarious. He's a very funny guy. Says a lot of inappropriate things, but it's funny nevertheless. At the first VidCon, he cussed like crazy. How many people protested him talking at the next event? Shane Dawson says a lot of things that I would assume most parents don't want their kids to hear. Things that I would never say on stage. And yet, I'm being censored, and somebody who's much, much more offensive than I am in person isn't.
Greg concluded that the difference between him and Shane is that Greg has opinions on
unfair bias, where because I have an opinion on vegetarianism, or I have an opinion on religion, or I have an opinion on circumcision, I'm not allowed to speak.
That parents don't want their children to hear. Oh yeah, that's the problem, Greg. That's why people don't want you there. In the video, he complains he is being censored, and there is an unfair bias against him due to his opinions. He then threatens to not even attend VidCon.
So with that being said, if this isn't resolved, I just don't see the point in going to VidCon, because obviously I'm an unwelcome person. Obviously VidCon isn't proud to back me. They're not proud to show their support for me.
Greg continued that same day to make tweets about VidCon and about Sky again. One calling Sky a liar, and the rest asking his followers to tweet at VidCon. I'm not really a head doc, but it makes me wonder what the name for this kind of breakdown is. Is it like a narc meltdown? Does Greg take like a break to get a snack at any point? He then also made a post claiming VidCon invited him back, though that really wasn't the case. Don't really know what was going on in his head, but considering he's attacking 3 of his exes publicly while simultaneously doing this, I'm getting tired of this guy. He even concludes the post with a checkmate and a hashtag pure win. The next day, Greg made another damage control video called Apologist. In the video, he goes into detail about rape from the point of view of the victim.
What is a rape apologist? A rape apologist is somebody who looks at a victim and says what they endured either wasn't a big deal, or suggests that they're a liar or otherwise belittles them. So for all the rape apologists watching this video, I'm going to explain in depth what I'm very certain it is like being raped due to my experiences in the past, having had to hold the victims.
It's an obvious attempt to come off as sympathetic towards victims after his previous actions. Another example of, you guessed it, damage control. Also on that day, Hank Green, the co-creator of VidCon, contacted Greg via email. He clarified that he was upset with the employee who removed Greg's name from the guest list, but advises Greg shouldn't attend VidCon due to the recent controversy. Greg reacted to the email publicly on his Facebook, saying he still would have gone if people threw stuff at him, as long as he got to meet his fans, but now he officially will not be able to attend. Greg proceeded to post a video on the VidCon drama the next day, January 25th, titled, Why I Cried. In the video, he says the previous night, he became depressed and made a Facebook status saying he felt like crying.
I was rejected from VidCon, essentially. Like, they said that they were debating whether or not they were going to boot me because they feared for my safety. What with all the threats I've been getting as of late, it's legit too. You can see it on my Facebook where they're talking about my safety and how me being there would potentially create a hostile environment considering so many people hate me and so forth. Anyway, so it ended up getting me pretty depressed, and I just said, that I was depressed on Facebook, and then I said I felt like crying. Anyway, so because haters have been threatening me, I'm not allowed to go to VidCon.
He says after watching a movie where a character kills himself, he cried uncontrollably.
Anyway, Jude Law hops into an oven and kills himself. Because I guess he didn't want to live anymore as someone who's crippled, or for whatever reason, I don't know. But I started sobbing hysterically when that happened.
This is just one more attempt at sympathy by using suicide, a tactic he uses to this day. He says the haters made him cry and broke him down.
So, I don't care if this is me admitting defeat. Haters did make me cry. And they did break me down.
By taking away a happy event in his life. the drama continued to ramp up. A girl who had previously made a video comparing Onision to her rapist posted a status that one of his fans had attacked her, writing, "So I was walking to class, and one of his fans apparently lives by me and recognized me by my video. They yelled at me and started shoving me around. They were about 5'9", I'm 4'11", I'm very small. Anyway, I ended up having to defend myself, and this cop saw and took care of the situation. This literally happened a few minutes ago." She posted a picture of her bruises as proof, but she eventually privated her videos and left after allegedly being doxxed. I am unsure how true these events are, but I really just wanted to emphasize how insane everything surrounding Onision was. With the beginning of February came the official ending of Greg and Shiloh's relationship, at least in Greg's eyes. Shiloh also was sending mixed messages about the status of their relationship during and between December 2011 and now. She celebrated their anniversary and so on, and it was all very confusing for followers. Greg posted a status that day claiming he was heartbroken, ... again. Sometime also around this, Greg started a new website, Onision.org. Onision has the tendency to bail out of websites and restart anew, something he still currently does. And after the ending of their relationship, Greg posted non-stop about Shiloh. The first being, to my knowledge, was a horrible music video titled, "It's Over," where Greg talks, sings, and acts real deep. I'm not gonna put the song in video because copyright claiming in music is a little difficult, but just trust me, it's really bad. The most interesting part of this was an Asian man staring at Greg as he moodily stomps around the city, acting real deep. People soon made memes about this brief moment, titling this Asian man as the video bomber. People also noticed that while Greg was having an emotional breakdown over Shiloh, he had also been tweeting a girl called Drum the Darling, perhaps trying to start another relationship. I am unsure of what happened with that, and a Google search of that name didn't reveal any results. I cannot find any more information on this person. It is lost to time, but while Greg was in between girls, he seemed to, at least in my opinion, be on the prowl. Archiving is important, not to out these potential girls or victims, but to timeline Greg's public actions. Despite Greg's public whining over Shiloh with the breakup, he emailed Alicia again on the 6th. I mentioned this in part 2, but if you want to start a drinking game every time Onision either emails Alicia or Sky, it's a good drinking game. Just take small sips. In the email, he informs her that he moved a video featuring her to his archive. She doesn't respond. Sometime around February 8th, some sad news came for our subject. Greg found out Shiloh found a new boyfriend and began to immediately have a meltdown. He began to publicly accuse her of cheating. He wrote a blog that day titled, "In the Beginning, We Were So Happy," which mimicked the line from his song It's Over. He started the blog, "I am really shocked right now. Apparently my ex has a new boyfriend, which is great and all. But the problem is, it's so soon after I broke up with her that it makes things make sense. A lot of sense." He then went into the detail about lies she told at the end of their relationship and came to the conclusion that she most likely cheated. After these accusations, Shiloh took to her Facebook and claimed she never cheated. Viewers were already suspicious about Shiloh cheating due to her social media. A viewer reached out to Greg via email and sent several screenshots proving she cheated, including corresponding in-a-relationship status changes by Shiloh and her new boyfriend when she was still with Greg. Greg then made many Facebook status and posted 4 images to his website called Cheater 1 through Cheater 4, with proof from social media and their emails that she cheated. There is only one surviving image of Greg's alleged proof, so take it with a grain of salt. Greg then posted 2 videos on the alleged cheating that same day, one titled, "No Sick Days for Onision," and the other titled, "The Truth Hurts, but so do her lies." In the Sick Days video, Greg talked about how he needs to make a comedy video that day.
Today I have to make a comedy sketch, even though I just found out that I was cheated on by someone I have loved more than anyone I've ever loved in my life.
He said he will act funny for his comedy video to make his fans happy.
And now I have to be funny. And I will be. I'll be fucking hilarious. Because that's who I am.
In the video, he warned viewers to look for signs when dating and not to let your significant other lie to you.
Do not accept them telling you anything less than the truth. And I'm sorry if that advice is bad. I'm a little emotional right now.
He said he should have listened to everyone telling him to get out of the relationship. He then said he should be single for a while.
Anyway, so yeah, I am still single. still very, very single. Despite what people believe, I am still crying. I am still lonely. And you know what? That's the way it should be for a while. Because now I have a trust complex.
Which lasted all of like a few days. At the end of the video, he winces and quickly turns the camera off. All of the proof that he links in the video description are to his old website and no longer work. The next video, the Truth Hurts one, he tells Shiloh he wanted the money he sent her back.
We didn't break up until 7 days ago. She's already clearly moved on completely. She got over me that fast. 7 days. And I broke up with her. But I broke up with her, so she's supposed to still be heartbroken, upset and everything. She's already moved on, like she never cared. I'm still single. And I broke up with her. Shiloh, I want my money back too, by the way. The $300 that I sent you to get your passport to come home, I want that back. And then the other $300 that I sent you to get the passport money, or to get the passport because you lost you got the first $100 stolen and then spent the other $200 already. And then the $1,100 I sent you, I want that back too for the rent. And in the future, when you're with somebody else, you better let them know that you're a cheater. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Anyone with two brain cells to rub together should wonder why he felt the need to post about this publicly to hundreds of thousands of people. But here we are. Along with the videos, Greg also allegedly texted Shiloh so that he could insult her on just one more outlet. We know about this from Facebook posts Shiloh put out. He texted her, "You cheated on me. I never want to speak to you again." It's like you can't let anyone who's ever interacted with him move on. He does this with everybody. Shiloh during this time seemed to just want to be on good terms, also posting on Twitter she wants everything to blow over and to get her things back from him. So, remember when I mentioned Judge Judy earlier? Well, on February 10th, Greg announced he was planning to take Shiloh to court. He announced this on Facebook, saying he wanted Judge Judy because she eats liars alive. This little stunt of his would persist over the next couple of days. After this, on the 12th, Shiloh turned to social media to defend herself once more from Greg's constant barrage. She made a Facebook status saying she was mentally, physically, and verbally abused by Greg. She detailed many of the same things I covered in part 2, but new information came from her replies to the comments. In the comments, she replied to someone, telling them Greg never beat her, but that he pushed her hard into a doorframe when she was pregnant. She said she was trying to give him a hug when he didn't want one. Within the next few months, she mentioned the doorframe incident multiple times on her social media. Shiloh later blamed the stress Greg put her under in their relationship for the cause of the miscarriage. Greg would later defend himself on the doorframe incident in 2016, with a timeline. He says Shiloh miscarried at 6 weeks, and they found out the fetus was no longer alive at 12 weeks. He claimed that the doorframe incident was at 13 weeks.
Me killing an unborn baby. So, first off, we found out that she miscarried at about 12 weeks. And the pushing happened at about 13 weeks. The pushing was after she body slammed the door.
In a later 2016 video, Greg claims the doorframe incident occurred at 12 weeks.
Allegedly, she also claimed that I pushed her into a doorframe, which caused her to miscarry their unborn child. Once again, whenever there were any physical altercations, I called the police right after to ensure I had done nothing wrong. And of course, this doesn't mention all the physical things she did prior to me getting her away from the door so I could close it so she would leave me alone. I've already laid out in previous videos how impossible it would have been for me to push her into a doorframe and how odd it would have been for that physical altercation to have caused the death of a child which she was not pregnant with, considering the child she was pregnant with had already passed 6 weeks prior, as observed by the doula on an ultrasound. So 6 weeks into the pregnancy, the fetus dies. At 12 weeks is where we had the physical altercation, where she was body slamming my door, and I got her away from the door so I could close it.
While Shiloh was forced to defend herself, Onision went on the prowl again, and that same day tweeted out, "Soulmate, where are you?" Taylor responded with saying, "Here," and Greg DM'd her with, "You really think you're my soulmate? If so, ... what makes you feel this way?" There are also screenshots from this time between Taylor and a friend, where Taylor wrote, jokingly, that they wanted to kidnap Greg and another person named John, and then they would all fly out to Paris. When looking at these leaked screenshots, there was another one from the next day of the convo. In it, Taylor questioned if Greg really loves her, and wished Greg would just tell them. Note, at this time, Taylor is 17 and still in high school, and Greg is 9 years her senior. Along with Taylor being a possible future partner, during this time Greg started working with a girl named Kasha Fox. When going through the timeline, I was unable to find more information on her, and a Google search does not provide much information. But there are screenshots of Greg interacting with this new person. On February 14th, Greg emailed Sky, this time accusing her of only being interested in his possessions. In an attempt to try to gain sympathy, she doesn't respond. He writes her, "Things got really screwed up beyond repair, but this'll forever be adorable, check attached. I wish you didn't lie, steal the contract, leave my home a mess. All that ruined our future, let alone me abandoning you, calling us a mistake. So many things have been said, destroying everything we were. Were you really out for my possessions? Is that all you cared about?" The next day, according to the Life of Onion wiki, Taylor's daily tweets to Greg ended, probably due to them talking privately. One day after this, on the 16th, Shiloh posts a blog trying to apologize titled, "I'm sorry." Greg did not accept her apology and proceeded to call her cheating scum. It's funny since Greg emotionally cheated on Sky with Shiloh and continued to have infidelity issues over the years. Rules for thee and not for me is relevant to Greg. Okay, so then back to the Judge Judy stuff. Greg finally addressed what he was talking about with a video on February 17th titled Judge Judy, Onision vs. Shiloh, and uploaded it to his Speaks channel. In the video, he informs his audience that he just got off the phone with people at Judge Judy.
Hey guys, I just got off the phone with some of the people at Judge Judy. I mentioned briefly before that I was going to contact Judge Judy about being conned out of almost $2,000 by my ex-girlfriend, and it turns out they're interested in my case. The only question is whether or not we can get that old Canadian down here to see some American justice.
He believes she will agree to it because she believes she is right.
She's pretty set on believing whatever she wants to believe, and so maybe by the end of the month we'll have Judge Judy telling us who is right. Maybe it's me that is 100% honest, like I've been telling you guys all this time. Or maybe Judge Judy will side with the Canadian, who knows?
He says he will bring plenty of evidence supporting his case.
The point is that I'm going to bring plenty of evidence, and I'm going to bring plenty of statements and so forth, supporting my case as usual because I am a man of evidence.
In the video, he announces he will be suing her for the $2,000 he was conned out of. He also says that if he wins the case, he's going to donate the money because it's, tainted. At the end of the video, there's white text telling his viewers to cross their fingers in hopes that Shiloh will agree to be on the show. Shiloh replied to the video with several statuses on her Draculo Facebook fan page. Her initial reaction being, "Ha ha ha, what the fuck?" She goes on to say that she feels hurt that Greg wanted to sue her for the money she already told him that she would pay back. She says most of her stuff is still with Greg, and she had to sell her few possessions so she could buy food. She then says she is currently sleeping in her father's shop because she's currently homeless. A few minutes later, she makes another status, asking what Judge Judy would say after she found out about the horrible things Greg put her through. Later that day, Greg posted an update to an unknown location, stating that Judge Judy will not be taking the case, because they do not work with Canadian citizens. Same exact day as the Judge Judy post, "Get your drinks ready." Greg sent Sky an email. In the email, he begged her to respond and to help him with his finances. With no response from Sky, Greg emailed her 2 more times the next day, one asking her why she lied on the legal documents, and the other claiming he was broke. Fun fact, he's not broke. He'll later that year fly out to New Mexico, rent a house there, and offer to pay Alicia to work for him. I want to note, even to this day, when Greg is accused of his bad behavior, he uses the fact that the law sides with him as an excuse. But like, with this situation, where the courts sided with Sky, he does not continue to hold that logic. On the 21st, Greg's Texan ex, Adrian, tried to clear the air of the drama she was involved in and emailed Greg. She attempted to give support and end the drama between them. She apologized for the hurtful things she said out of anger. Greg responded saying that he forgives her and that he could have done better. This later would be used to empower Greg, to continue to act like he was always in the right. We'll get to that in a moment, but the last leaked screenshot between Taylor and her friend was dated soon after this. on the 23rd, where Taylor told her friend that Greg was hesitant to keep talking to her to avoid falling for her. This language that Greg is using here is very similar to what he did with Adrian the previous year. The next day, Greg released a video titled Boring in Bed to his Speaks channel about someone on his forum asking about her husband touching her in her sleep. His response to the post is telling.
Some lady posted to onision.net/contact complaining about her husband touching her in her sleep. And my concern with this is, aren't you married? Like, aren't you supposed to be sexual with each other? Like, it's not like some stranger is touching you in your sleep. It's not like someone who isn't supposed to be touching you in your sleep is touching you in your sleep. It's like your friggin' husband. You're supposed to be like sexually exciting and explorative and awesome with them, right? You're not supposed to be all like reclusive and don't touch me. Don't touch me. It's only appropriate in the missionary position and when we're only trying to procreate. Like, it's like, what is up with this weirdness?
You'd think after the apologist controversy, Greg would consider his words a little more carefully, but no. Next, the relationship between Greg and Taylor became official, though privately, on the 27th of February. Greg had to consult a lawyer to see if he, a 26-year-old, could date a 17-year-old. We now know all about this thanks to the leaked conversations that will be posted later in 2012. Greg emailed Sky again, February 28th, with his court-mandated alimony payment. The receipt comes with the statement, "You agreed and have no honor." We are now in March, and after officially dating Taylor, Greg informally proposed to the 17-year-old over Skype by saying, "You know I'm gonna marry you, right?" People noticed around this time that Greg had begun to wear something like an engagement ring. Greg did not address fans' suspicions of him finding a new partner because he was now claiming he was totally gonna keep his personal life private. Hint, he doesn't. Also at the beginning of this month, Greg began to campaign for something called King of the Web. It was a competition among content creators on YouTube to win a cash prize. Greg posted on various social media, asking his fans to vote for him. His campaign started out fairly strong, being second to Marzia Bisognin, PewDiePie's current wife. Greg's early success in this competition is very similar to his YouTube success, dwindling. I mentioned in part 2, Greg and Shiloh at the very end of December in 2011 adopted a dog named Nibbles. Despite Greg ranting often on social media about loving animals, he did not keep his commitment to his adopted pet. And on March 3rd, Greg uploaded a video titled, A Better Home. In the video, he attempted his best manipulation tactics by feigning upset.
So where does this leave Nibbles, exactly? It leaves Nibbles in a really situation. Because now that my ex has made the decisions that she's made, there's no one here except for me.
He even went so far as to bring up the fact that he allegedly attempted suicide for pity points.
The reason I'm not a good pet owner is because November 17th, 2007, or November 14th, 2007. Every day in my life is just bonus.
He concluded the video by saying he will make a couple of Encore channel videos with Nibbles, then that will be it. Greg, just FYI, a dog isn't an accessory. The dog would eventually be adopted by a family. People speculated that Greg got rid of the dog because of what happened next. That is, on the 8th of March, Greg met Taylor in person for the first time in New Mexico. After this, he rented a home down in New Mexico in order to be closer to the 17-year-old. In 2019, when talking about the first time they met, Greg says it was definitely not love at first sight for him. He says that when he was looking for a relationship after his ex-fiancée, he wasn't going for looks, he was just going for a good person. He said he wasn't excited about the relationship until later on. Kai, aka Taylor, says it was love at first sight for him. He says he was excited when they met. What a romantic. It was later revealed by Taylor, now going by Kai in current year, that was indeed their first meeting. But viewers at the time noticed that Greg's filming location had changed. Soon, after meeting his future spouse for the first time, Greg achieved official meme status. But not in the way that was in any way positive for him. Audience were laughing at him, not with him. On March 12th, Greg uploaded a video titled, God is Real? In the video, he answered a viewer's question, how would you react if God was real?
The first thing I would do is, oh my God! Oh! Oh! Oh God!
A good number of fans took notice of his stomach rolls and body acne and commented on the video about them. Right after this, enraged by the comments, Greg uploaded a video entitled, Me and my zits. In the video, Greg is shirtless and begins to compare his fans' reaction to his previous videos to Shane Dawson's fans' reaction to Shane's chest hair.
And I guess everybody was supposed to be offended by it or grossed out by it or something because he had this insecurity, but everybody actually embraced him because they are not assholes like my Onision Speaks audience. Minor percent of my Onision Speaks audience are complete assholes, where they judge people for being imperfect.
He points out his body acne and complained that commenters were saying his body was repulsive. Ew, ew, ew.
Some people decided to comment saying, ew, look, you're fat. Ew, your body's repulsive. Ew, ew, ew.
He then says they failed to reflect on themselves and that he guarantees everyone that called him fat.
I guarantee you the people that comment saying that I am fat are nowhere near as skinny as I am.
He walks back and says he will reply to the commentors. He says when people sit down, their stomach rolls up.
Down, because when you sit down, your stomach rolls up. Makes those little fat things.
He begins yelling and saying,
This is my fucking body! You see it? This is my vegetarian body! Ah!
He ended the video with,
So thanks for watching, guys, and haters. They hate themselves, and that's why they hate on you. Bye.
If you are a follower of Onision drama, this vegetarian body thing became a meme. And even PewDiePie, the biggest YouTuber, made a joke about it at one point.
I am vegan body! Vegan shovel!
Hints at Greg and the young Taylor became more obvious to drama followers on the 14th when Taylor tweeted about sleeping next to someone they loved. These details might seem small and minuscule, but they add up to paint a bigger picture. Drama arrived at Greg's doorstep again on March 23rd. On that day, he got into a fight with his fellow YouTuber and friend, Sear. Sear and Greg had previously been roommates and worked together on many videos. Greg announced that he and Sear were no longer friends. This ending of their friendship was triggered earlier when Sear had asked Greg to take down a video that they had filmed together that contained an Adolf Hitler joke. Sear ultimately felt uncomfortable with the joke after speaking with a friend who had grandparents who died in the Holocaust. Greg, in response to this, uploaded a video entitled, Excuses of Liars and People of Virtue.
Because being friends with somebody who's a liar or a cheater or a thief or whatever is going to be difficult for me, considering the fact that I can no longer trust you so long as you hold this philosophy that it's okay that everyone's fucked up, which means you're most likely going to somehow affect me with your negative aspects and then act like I'm a total freak when I take it seriously. You know, when I say, hey, this is really messed up. Don't do this. You know, we may all be fucked up in one way or another, but that doesn't mean we have to pretend it's okay. Know what I mean? That is my morning inspirational speech. I hope you guys like my bed hair. Thanks for watching, guys.
Sear, after clinging to Greg for a little YouTube fame, went on to attack Greg publicly. Greg really has burned bridges for a long time. 2012 really is a year of jealousy and hate towards his fellow content creators. Greg continued to try to publicly go after Sear and upload another video that same day, or sometime around that time. The exact dates are hard to find. This one was titled, Censored and Heartbroken. In the video, he talked about how Sear will no longer be in videos because he him over when he asked him to remove a video. They worked together where Sear portrayed Hitler. Greg in this video proceeded to seem very oblivious to how Sear felt and does the classic I'm right, you're wrong, get over it argument that Onision has. 3 days after this little fight, Greg uploaded a video entitled Total Victory. I mentioned earlier that in February, Adrian had emailed him an apology. Well, he used that and the current drama with Sear to vindicate his poor behavior.
And that is that every relationship that has ended in my life in the last 2 years has been on my terms when it came to the final termination. Every single person who has a legitimate problem with me right now, who was formerly a friend or a lover, was dumped by me. That says a lot of good things for all the people who have been supporting me all this time. If they had such a big problem with me, as they clearly have with me now, why did they stay in the relationship? Why did they not dump me? Because I'm a great guy. That's why. I left all of them.
Adrian quickly responded on her social media, saying he twisted her words and she regrets sending the email. She pleaded with him to stop talking about her online. Around the 29th, days after the Sear breakup, Greg posted a poll on his social media asking, "Sear stated he was drunk when he pretended to be Hitler. However, I didn't see him drink a thing the whole night." Option 1. "No, I don't think he drank either. Why did he lie?" Option 2. "He must have gotten drunk before you got there." His Twitter poll didn't help him like he thought it was, and most voters thought Sear was actually probably drunk. Does he think his followers even give a shit about this? Don't post the video, Greg. Respect your friend and deal with this privately. Sear continued to throw some jokes at Greg the following days, writing, "I neither have, nor will I ever, involve my personal life with the internet, and I will never respond to false accusations. I'm here to make sweet vids, and that's all. I love you guys." Finally, we are in April 2012 now. The Sear drama was simmering down, but instead of posting comedy to his fans, Greg began this month by threatening suicide and attacking his exes. That's right, folks. Greg began talking about his alimony with Sky once again. He posted a few videos and many statuses talking about becoming suicidal over the alimony agreement and begging Sky to terminate the agreement. And while Greg was freaking out about the court-mandated alimony, he also made another attack on Shiloh on around April 9th. Greg posted during this time 2 polls on his Facebook asking fans if they think he should upload footage of Shiloh having seizures to prove she was a liar. He explained that he would give her a robot voice filter and blur out her face. The poll revealed that his fans wanted him to release the footage. In response, Shiloh went to her Draculo fan page and asked Greg not to upload the footage of her memory loss, threatening legal action. Greg didn't end up posting the videos, but I can't imagine wanting to move on and having someone with a massive fan base threaten me for months after suffering a loss of a child. Also around this time, he made a video titled "About Public Humiliation." This is a summary I found on the Onision drama Tumblr. Chronicles of Humiliation. Apologizes for publicly humiliating people, while rehashing all the reasons why he publicly humiliated them in the first place. He apologizes, but also defends himself and says why he publicly humiliated these people. States once again that he'll keep his personal info to himself. Then talks about his ex-girlfriend's ex-wife and says the only reason he spoke publicly about them is because they did it first and because his ex-wife stole from him. Also mentions Chris Crocker drama. Now, after all of this, let's get to some lighthearted lore. Greg put out a poll on April 10th asking his followers what he should call his fan base. Many hopped on board calling themselves Bananas, and sometime between 2012 and 2014, Greg began using a video outro in his videos where he would say, "We are not robots, we are not slaves, we are Banana Nation." He still uses bananas to refer to his dwindling fan base. Around the 13th, Greg uploaded a song titled "You Are Gone." The video has been wiped from the internet to my knowledge, and actually I do not know the date of the upload, but the audio track of the song, sans the vocals, was uploaded to SoundCloud on the 13th. According to the Life of Onion wiki, the video was another song about Shiloh, another obvious attempt to garner sympathy and distract viewers from his poor behavior. The description of the video on the Life of Onion wiki reads, "The odd music video consisted of Greg filming himself singing outside and throwing rocks down hills. In the video, it is clear it was filmed outside the New Mexico home he rented to be close to his girlfriend, Taylor, while she was in high school. Some speculate Greg may have tried the singing and screaming vocal combination for this song to imitate Taylor's music tastes. Greg deleted all traces of this song and does not have it available to buy or stream on any music sites, as his songs usually are, despite Greg's need to rehash all this old drama. A few days later, on the 17th, he tweeted about how he loves someone. Taylor retweeted it. Greg would go on to make another similar tweet the next day, and Taylor would retweet that as well, giving those following closely insight into the secret relationship. Alright, get your drinks out, because on April 24th, after years of silence, Greg emailed Alicia again. In the email, he asked her about her life, if she's married, and if she's working. This stuff is wild to me. He has moved to date an underage high schooler and is still obsessing about his ex-wife's sister. So while emailing his ex-wife's sister, he's also, around this exact same time, making posts to Facebook complaining about his ex-wife and alimony. He wrote on Facebook, "I hate alimony. Get a job." I love how she steals from me every month, and yet people praise her on her Facebook page as a hero. What a crazy world we live in. She doesn't even have to work for 6 years, people. Just like she barely worked while we were married. I wish I could get paid to do nothing, but I guess I wouldn't respect myself then. Amazing she does. Greg, grow up. She's done nothing to you. Oh, you mean like rob me of thousands monthly? You mean like that? Child support? Awesome. Makes total sense. Alimony? Only for lazy succubus demons from hell. Calm down. Calm down. Breathe. Breathe. Okay, looks at wallet again. I White Girl Can't. What world does Greg live in? If you didn't watch the other parts in this series, Sky was not some lazy person who did nothing while Greg did work. She worked and supported him constantly, and he in turn dumped her and shamed her for, where are we now? For nearly 2 years and counting. What world do you live in that you think you can do this stuff and think their sister wants anything to do with you, Greg? And a day after he emailed Alicia, he uploaded another video about Sky, titled, Please Move On. In the video, he explained even though this video is unpro of him, because he hasn't talked about his private life in a while, like a month or a couple days, but he tried to handle it privately and had no success. He stated this video is a
So this is my formal public request for my ex-wife to let me move on, to let me be happy, and to go her own way.
He then baited suicide in this video, saying that
The only thing it says is basically I have to be dead in order to stop making these payments. I have to be dead. Talk about incentive of suicide. Well, if I kill myself, at least I don't have to pay my ex-wife anymore.
And while he's doing this, on the 26th, he sent Sky a ridiculous amount of emails, threatening to kill himself due to the alimony. Sky doesn't respond, which is a smart thing to do. He continued to talk about suicide through the 25th and 26th, claiming that the alimony made him want to kill himself. Greg would later admit that he was never actually suicidal, and was trying to manipulate Sky into terminating their alimony agreement. Also, I find this funny that around this time, I found some screen caps of these tweets. Greg tweets, crying again, crying face. Shane Dawson replies, your profile picture looks just like D Fizzy. Is that intentional? Greg responds, at Shane Dawson, suicidal right now. Shane, I don't need this. Shane just replies, at Onision, ha 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 ha. And Onision just gives another crying face. Okay, I'm suicidal, Shane. Oh, Onision. But after all these suicidal messages, on April 26th, Greg decided to post an oh-so-inspirational video titled Overcoming Suicide, and uploaded it to his Speaks channel, once again baiting suicide for pity and views. He also proceeded to email Sky, same day as the video. He sent her another flurry of emails, telling her he's lost respect for her for not following the initial divorce contract. If you watch part 1, the initial divorce contract was thrown out in court, and he then threatens to discontinue alimony. If you are playing the drinking game, the amount of emails he sent to her in just these 2 days will kill your liver. So 2 days after his emails got no response, Greg uploaded his worst video involving the alimony drama, titled Alimony versus Slavery. The title itself should tell you how bad this video is. And if you read about how Sky continuously put her career on hold to help Greg's Air Force career and YouTube career, you actually will get a whole picture that Sky really in no way, shape, or form deserved to be shamed in any way. In this video, Greg continuously compared paying your ex to slavery.
Hey, do you support slavery? Like, do you support another person working for something that they cannot profit from whatsoever? Do you support that? Okay, if your answer is no, then you don't support alimony.
And then continued the narrative that he had been trying to push, that Sky was lazy and undeserving.
Like, why would you have to pay them so they can continue to live the way that they lived when they were with you? Especially considering that when they lived with you, the reason you probably have to pay them alimony is because they sat on their ass doing pretty much nothing the entire time you were married.
He then tried to explain that alimony is totally worse than slavery.
You know, I'm not going to say that slavery, actual, literal, 1900s, 1800s slavery, is the same as alimony. But I will say that there are similarities. And the similarities, well, actually the lack in a similarity is the fact that when you were a slave, you got free food, free shelter, free water, some cases free medical. What does a guy paying alimony get?
This video received a lot of criticism, and reply videos from people explaining why they believe Greg should not relate alimony to something like slavery. On the other side of this, the Facebook statuses and the Speaks videos sent some fans over the edge, and they began to increase the threats and hate on Sky's accounts. The attacks were noticeably more extreme and frequent than ever before. The fans' attacks, along with Greg's statuses and videos directed towards her, are rumored to be the reason behind her abrupt disappearance from her YouTube and her Fell from Sky social media accounts earlier in the year. In the 2016 video, List of Onision abuse accusations, Greg admits he used threatening to kill himself as a manipulation tactic against Sky.
Anyway, they mentioned that I publicly threatened to kill myself if she didn't stop forcing me to make alimony payments, and that is true. I did publicly threaten to kill myself. I have no defense for that, because publicly threatening to kill yourself is really stupid, especially since that was a manipulative tactic and I had no actual intention of killing myself. Essentially, it was because I was very angry that she lied her way into getting about $90,000 out of me. Actually over $100,000, so I was already paying her alimony before the court even ordered me to pay alimony. As you know, I cared.
Greg's ego was so strong on these videos that he put his comments under review during this time. So the same day as this alimony versus slavery video, he emailed Sky again. In the email, I cannot be sure if this was before or after the video was posted, he called her a slave owner, and once again brought up the non-notarized contract that he forced her to sign. Sky didn't respond. Smart woman. With May comes a new online website for Mr. Onion. Greg started a website titled Crovati. It was created to be a serious forum where users could go to critique YouTubers' videos. It was shut down a year later, but the About section of Crovati at the time read, "A select few of you may have asked yourselves, what the bleep is the point of having a review site for online videos when you can just watch them for free? And it's a very good question. Fortunately, there's an awesome answer. When internet personalities upload videos, they are releasing their control to be reviewed by a simple thumbs up, thumbs down rating system, which does not specifically help them when it comes to the specifics of what went wrong, what was right, and how they can improve. Crovati, as you may know, stands for Critic Reviews of Videos Around the Internet, which means the reviewers are not just done by random people who type in a search query, or long-time subscribers, but rather people who enjoy paying attention to the details and wish to constructively improve upon or help change the artist's perspective on how video making can be best accomplished through the eyes of a critical mind. Crovati can also be used as a promotional tool for content creators who are not yet discovered. Viewers can submit videos they feel deserve a review, and if it is chosen, it could very well wind up on the Crovati homepage. Awesome, right? Regardless, Crovati is not just about reviews. It is about free tools for your videos, Creative Commons licensed music, quizzes, rumors/gossip, because let's face it, that's just fun, and an awesome growing community. Thank you so much for being part of this site. I truly hope you enjoy your time here, Onision. Onision created a YouTube channel for Crovati on May 2nd. This became one of many of Greg's abandoned ventures. Also this month marked Onision's beloved fiancé, Taylor, graduating from high school. I also mentioned the King of the Web earlier. Greg was attempting to run for it, but I guess he wasn't winning, so on May 7th, he posted a video titled King of the Cons, telling his viewers he had dropped out. In the video, he talks about how he thinks King of the Web is just after the money.
And so I'm looking at them as if they're either mentally retarded or they're con artists, because they have to be one or the other. There's no way they could think that I would win that competition unless they were mentally retarded. And, you know, they obviously wouldn't think that I was going to win the competition if they're a con artist, right? Because they would know there's no damn chance. This is my theory. King of the Web is about making money. You know, they say they're going to give you $7,500 for winning the competition. Meanwhile, they're accepting, you know, votes in the form of cash to multiply those votes, thus compensating for their loss and probably ending them in profit. And on top of that, they allow you to donate some of your winnings to an organization, and that way they could probably, I don't know for sure, but they could probably write it off on their taxes, and therefore offering them even more profit, right? Anyway, so yeah. That is why I do not talk to King of the Web anymore. That is why I want nothing to do with King of the Web anymore, because I feel like they're not very honest in the sense that they told me I could win when they know damn well there was no chance in hell I could have won.
I did find an article written about it. New media rock stars talked about King of the Web and Onision's accusations, writing, "An internet contest that rewards people with upwards of $7,500 for putting out videos is bound to be met with some skepticism. Recently, King of the Web user and YouTuber personality Onision criticized the contest in our YouTube upload titled King of Cons. In the video, Onision claims that King of the Web was offering voters the opportunity to buy votes to increase their favorite YouTube celebrities' ranking. Onision asks, "Why would you give money to some contest that someone can win when you could just give money directly to the person?" Furthermore, user Highest Angel on the official Onision message board claims that they are trying to make money out of other people's videos by offering the illusion of prestige with a little cash reward. In reward, they get tons more cash back and website promotion, and ridiculous profit for doing jack all. That is not a service. It's like a illegitimate scheme, leeching off of other people's success, getting promotion for their site, and cash is all they are concerned with. The article goes more into how the money was dealt, but what I think happened was Onision wasn't winning, so he claimed it was all some kind of money scam. Just my thoughts. I think Boogie won, but who cares? More evidence of Greg dating Taylor came again on May 15th when he tweeted about spending time playing video games with his favorite person. Taylor retweeted it. Also, I have no idea where to put this, but at some point during the year, Onision started a channel called Onision Trolls, and sometime between now and the beginning of the year, he started making videos insulting YouTuber Jenna Marbles. But I'm putting it here because on May 15th, he moved his Jenna Marbles videos to his Trolls channel after he received a ton of backlash. These Jenna Marbles videos were eventually removed, so the exact upload date isn't quite known. If you note in these videos, Craig isn't joking or trolling like he tries to play off by putting it on his troll channel. And what it really seems to be is that he made them because he perceived Jenna Marbles and her opinion on marriage was a direct attack on him and his life choices.
Making this video response to her because of the fact that I feel like the points that she made in her video are incredibly stupid. And the reason I feel they're stupid is because I have a lot more personal experience than she does, most likely, because if she had the experiences I did, she would not be saying the stupid shit that she's saying. First of all, she said that you should wait about 10 years, or at least she's going to wait 10 years before she even considers getting into a marriage situation with someone because of the fact that she feels like it's just a smart thing to do. She apparently thinks that she's going to live forever. That's the impression that I get from her. First of all, Jenna Marbles, let's say that you and I are dating, which I don't want. That's gross. It's really gross. Wait till you're 50 or 60 to finally settle down. First of all, not everybody lives till they're 50 or 60. But secondly, so you're suggesting that they die alone there. But secondly, do you know how many eligible bachelors there are at that age? Like how many truly eligible? And when I say truly eligible, I mean like they're sane upstairs, like they're fucking potentially compatible with you. There's like 0. And the reason there's like 0 is because all the good ones are taken by the age of 50 because they're not dumbasses who have shitty opinions on marriage. And they decide, okay, I want to start a life with someone. She's asking people to waste their entire youth on fucking chance. That's just stupid. It's so incredibly stupid.
Not everything is about you, Greg. Greg did something else around this time, because he decided that he suffered from yet another injustice. This injustice involves what I like to call the Save YouTube arc of Onision's online presence. So let me sum up the Save YouTube. This is a little intermission in the relationship drama. So according to the Life of Onion wiki, Save YouTube, or hashtag Save YouTube, was a movement Greg started when YouTube tried to turn into a movie and television show site in addition to a video sharing site. The movement also tackled other issues, such as subscriber counts going down, when YouTube began removing dead and bot accounts. 3 years before Greg's little movement, there had already been a similar movement named HuluTube that Greg had mocked and criticized in the past.
As of late, I've been hoping to become more popular, so I made up another conspiracy about YouTube. So thank you for watching. Evil Disney and evil YouTube have joined forces.
Now, if you're one of the YouTube partners who thinks this does not involve you because you have 40 times the amount of subscribers that I do, you're wrong. YouTube is becoming the next HuluTube. There is no you in YouTube.
By 2012, Google began attempting to turn YouTube into a movie streaming site, and content creation YouTube channels began to suffer. Greg began a series of videos called hashtag Save YouTube, where he rallied viewers and YouTube creators to spread the word and to tell YouTube to stop changing the site.
Hey guys, YouTube used to be a pretty fair system. If you invested a lot of time in a video, you would normally see some pretty decent results when you uploaded them. It's incredibly screwed up that YouTube has been this way as of late, because not only is it hurting the big YouTubers, but it's hurting the small YouTubers who are trying to become big.
YouTube responded to Onision's movement May 24, 2012. I have no idea when Greg started this movement, but the article talking about YouTube responding to him was not kind. Like, nobody really cared about Onision's little hashtag. How's that feel, Greg? I'd like to let you, the listeners, know I read every post during this time on the Onision drama Tumblr, and so on the 24th, I noted a post saying Onision had his sub rank drop even further. Maybe that's why he started the Save YouTube. So during the Save YouTube arc, Taylor's ex posted a story detailing the teen's obsession with Greg. In the post, he gives little details nobody really cares about, but what is interesting is that he writes, several months before we broke up, she developed an obsession with Onision, and she started calling him Greg, and then apparently broke up with the ex after that. A high school relationship not panning out is not a big deal, but Taylor's obsession with Greg is worrying. Never date your fans. Onision broke the golden rule. On May 27th, Greg started his Uh-Oh Bro channel. It was initially a failed gaming channel, but it did eventually go on to be Greg's most popular channel, and its first to hit 2 million subs. June rolls around, and with June coming in, Greg left New Mexico and began a long-distance relationship with his underage partner, Taylor. In a Draw My Life video made by Greg, he speaks of how Taylor's father was not a fan of him.
And now let's talk about Mr. Grump. Knowing I was now dating Lainey, Mr. Grump wanted to meet me at Olive Garden. We'll say that's an olive. Does that even show up on this? Stupid green. So Mr. Grump is sitting across the table from me at Olive Garden. Our conversation was kind of chill at first, but then his eyes started turning red. He started getting teary because Mr. Grump decided to threaten my well-being. Despite my relationship with Lainey being legal, he also threatened to put me in prison, despite, again, our relationship being totally legal. Despite Mr. Grump, we continued to be in love regardless. At one point, I texted Mr. Grump letting him know that I was going to marry Lainey regardless of what they had to say, and that if they didn't accept our relationship, it was going to be very awkward for them. Mr. Grump was in Lainey's life permanently. Me marrying Lainey would make me in her life permanently. You see what I mean? Mr. Grump basically told me to go F myself, and a marriage between Lainey and I was basically never gonna happen.
And so, because his fiancée was underage, Taylor's family did not like him, and therefore he left New Mexico. Get your drinks ready, guys. Greg emailed Alicia again on the 6th, asking if she wanted to hang out. And on June 8th, Greg started another abandoned channel, this one called Vitavius. I'm gonna say Vitavius. On the About page, Greg described the channel as, I basically take what Onision Speaks used to be, and I bring it here, for the sake of entertaining the people who are still interested in me being serious. The only video on the Vitavius channel was Go Daddy Sucks, which is uploaded the same day the channel was created. In this video, Greg complains that his web host, GoDaddy, shut his website down because he violated his database agreement when his site became too big. The video is no longer available. The channel only had that one video, and Greg eventually deleted it. So, remember Cravati, one of Onision's other failed endeavors earlier in the year? Well, on June 10th, Onision would post his first and last video to the Cravati YouTube. This video was titled Grow, and it had comments and ratings disabled. It was a 12-second video and was a welcome video. According to the Life of Onion wiki, in it, Greg said, Hi, this is my first series vlog on Cravati. This is also my last series vlog, hopefully ever. Bye. Brave and empowering, Greg. This was not his last serious video. Later that month, on the 21st, or around that time, Greg posted on social media claiming GoDaddy officially destroyed Onision.net. Greg writes, Sad night, ... GoDaddy officially destroyed Onision.net. I tried to optimize the table/delete data for the sake of getting the DB down to the size GoDaddy demanded. They didn't like how popular it became due to it being on a shared server. But when I tried to do so, the database failed altogether. I was using standard tools designed to optimize the DB without error, so it's odd. I had a pro look at it, and they said it was GoDaddy's fault. If you've ever tried to have them fix a database issue they are at fault for, you'll know it's an impossible task. Never using their service again. Regardless, all hail Cravati. It's everybody else's fault but you, Greg. In reality, Onision was just probably too impatient to figure out how to solve his problems. I mean, chasing underage girls, a lot of effort. Greg continued his attempt at music, and on July 24th, Greg uploaded a song titled, You're Beautiful. It is said he wrote the song for his then-fiancée, Taylor, who is known to suffer from low self-esteem. The song was a massive hit among fans, and still highly popular among bananas today, if they still exist. After this, on July 30th, Greg changed his last name to Avero. He previously went by Greg Jackson, and even at one point during his divorce with Sky, he actually tried to change his last name to Sasaska. Fun fact. We now move into August of 2012. In this month, Greg returned back to New Mexico and rents a place secretly to live with Taylor. Taylor's family believes she was living in a college dorm. I mentioned Onision's Draw My Life, where he talks about Taylor's father hating him. After that, Taylor was banned from hanging out at his place, so that means they were both sneaking behind her father's back. Even looking at social media posts, Taylor's parents thought they were dropping their daughter off to start her new life in college, and not a life with Greg, most honest YouTuber. As we continue this timeline, I often feel pity for Taylor's parents on what became of their child, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Along with his move back to New Mexico, Greg also announced a Crovati Times on August 3rd. In this announcement, he posted a list of plans and instructions about the announcement of Crovati Times. Apparently, Crovati Times seemed to be a user-run online newspaper. He posted the first issue of it on August 6th. One of the headlines was, "4 members swear nicely," in all caps. Also, he started another news site on August 29th. Or around that time. I'm using a Tumblr to find general dates. I don't think they're going to be the exact ones. But this website was called onision.me. August was otherwise drama-free. So on to September. September 10th marked the last issue of the aforementioned Crovati Times. The headline of this issue was, "Ultimate Face-Off Between Forum Ponies and Cats," in all caps. More hints to Taylor being Onision's new partner happened on September 16th, where the young teenager can be seen in Sear's video. And I guess Sear and Greg were cool again. Can't keep up. Shiloh felt the need to defend herself once again, and posted a blog on September 25th detailing every little thing Onision said about her. She literally confirmed everything she said since then. Also during this time, sensitive pictures of her leaked, and to my knowledge, she disappeared soon after this. She even detailed in her defense only Greg had those personal pictures, and it makes me wonder if he leaked them, but I cannot appropriately make that call. After this, on the 27th, get the drinks out folks. Onision emailed Alicia again. This time, he offered to pay her enough to live on if she signs her channel over to him. So dude, he's emailing Sky, Alicia's sister, that he's broke, and then emailing Alicia that he'll pay her a salary. Greg, how the fuck? We are mostly talking about Greg in this series, but as we continue, Taylor Anderson will become part of his madness. So, I want to get into them a bit. On September 28th, Taylor got into contact with someone by the name of Regina, who will play an important part later on. Regina was 14 years old at the time. This is a small detail, but Taylor will become Onision's perfect victim cohort as the years continue. We are now in October, and on October 10th, Greg tweeted Shane Dawson, accusing him of becoming one of them, his words. And Shane responded. Greg proceeded to tweet Shane, publicly shaming him for various things that Greg perceived as slights against him. On October 11th, Greg posted a video titled Recovery, which, guys, I'm flabbergasted as to why Onision continued to feel the need to talk about this sensitive subject. I mean, holy fuck. In the video, he responds to a woman who was by her boyfriend.
Let's go ahead and see what you guys are talking about on the contact page. Okay, this topic's called getting over sad.
Moving on, a few days after getting mad at Shane for becoming one of them, Shane had a movie called Smiley that he appeared in go to theaters. This year, this saga, damage control and jealousy. Greg was jealous of Shane's success. Just keep in mind if you're getting bored, we're almost done with 2012. It'll get crazier in different years. Greg, on the 13th of October, posted a video advising a girl on her abusive boyfriend. Greg really has an obsession with assault and abuse. After this important video, where Greg talks to his over 100,000K viewers about abuse, he emailed, get the drinks. He emailed Alicia again on the 17th. In the email, he asked if she would like to come work with him making YouTube videos. Greg claimed in the email that their partnership is going to pay more than any job she's ever had before. I thought you broke, Greg. Maybe Greg should have tried one of his other little tactics, you know, maybe the one he's working with Sky. Maybe he should have emailed Alicia 12 times calling her a greedy whore. Maybe Alicia would respond to that. Didn't work on Sky, maybe it'll work on Alicia. I don't know. Throw the chips in the wind, Greg. Fucking great. After no response from Alicia, on the 22nd of August, Greg made his relationship with Taylor public. Taylor had just turned 18. Soon after this, Taylor began going as LaneyBot, and her old Twitter went bye-bye. People thought that she was going by LaineyBot as kind of a way to be similar to Shane Dawson's significant other at the time. After the relationship announcement, Greg and Taylor got matching 27 tattoos to commemorate the day they started privately dating. So now we move into November. And despite Greg now publicly dating someone, get your drinks ready. On the 1st of November, Greg emails Alicia again. In this email, he begs her to work with him. He writes, "You and I work together perfectly." With no response from Alicia, he emails her again on November 11th. In the email, he asked her to come out to New Mexico to make videos. She still doesn't respond. Lainey and Greg get married 3 days later on the 14th. They did not announce their marriage online, and the teenager kept it secret from their family. The internet found out about the marriage a week later, after an angry ex-friend of Taylor's went to Tumblr to reveal what had been going on. These leaks were on November 21st. A former friend of Lainey's made a Tumblr post announcing Greg and Lainey's marriage to the internet. She also posted screenshots of their text and Skype conversations about Greg and Lainey's early relationship as proof of her claims. I used these conversations to help me map out the timeline throughout this video. This leak also alerted the internet of Lainey's eating disorder, which Regina would later corroborate, stating that there were some days where Lainey only ate Tic Tacs. The leaks also revealed that Taylor's parents did not know she was planning on moving back to Washington with Greg, and that she planned to travel around the world with Greg on something called the Digitour while taking online classes. This leak didn't trigger Onision to respond, but on that same day, 21st, Onision emailed Sky. He asked her in the email to contact IRS about him filing a joint tax return. Sky doesn't respond. Smart girl. Greg emailed Sky again on the 26th, asking if he can pay alimony in bulk, and again asking her to contact the IRS to nullify her 2010 tax return. She didn't respond. Did I mention Sky is smart? And if you thought the drinking game was going to be over, you can't put away your drinks yet. Because Greg emailed Alicia next, on the 29th, asking if she would like to relaunch her channel. Alicia also didn't respond. So we are now in December. Onision started another iteration of the Onision forums during this time, due to some older users of the forum being unhappy with the current forum software functionality. This one is known as Cloud Citadel. YouTuber Rag Reynolds recently posted a video that goes really into the specific details of the forum. I recommend checking out his video, I'll link it below. After the recent marriage of Onion and Taylor, both Mr. Repsion and Don't Stand So Close to Me made videos at Taylor's parents about this obvious disrespect of them. Nothing was very much publicly interesting in the rest of the year. We end this year on a slow note. Greg posts many videos and statuses against a K-pop song called Gangnam Style. I am sure he felt due to the popularity of the song he would get views, but either due to jealousy of others' success or because he felt the need to be contrarian, he asked fans to boycott the Korean singer. And then, on the 17th of December, Greg, not able to leave his Canadian ex alone, posted a video trying to attack Shiloh and claiming she was an animal abuser.
You are going nowhere near that puppy. And the reason I didn't want her to go anywhere near the puppy if I was not able to directly observe her interactions with him is because I know about her history with animals, and I think I've mentioned this before. To her credit, she told me these things were true, and she's a pathological liar, so maybe they're not. I don't know. The first fucked up thing my ex did to animals. She said she took hairspray and sprayed her goldfish and just watched it die. Fucked up thing number 2. She said she once held a small animal and like hugged it with her hands so tight that it died, like it choked to death or something. And the third thing she said she did is she grabbed a little small animal, I don't know what it was, I think it was like a mouse or something, and she threw it. She kept throwing this animal over and over again till it died. I don't know why. And lastly, the only thing I can really say I have any direct experience with her and animals with, you guys remember that wiener dog that was in a video or two? We adopted that dog from my ex-stepfather. But one day, I'm in the shower and I hear her freak out. So I get out of the shower and she's scolding the dog, and what does she say the reason for her doing this is? She says the dog literally jumped up and bit her in the vagina. A wiener dog.
And the last thing of interest in this year, Greg emailed Alicia on the 18th, asking if she's seen his new content, and again, invites her to work with him. She doesn't respond. So we leave this year with Greg constantly being in shambles, now married, and nobody liking him outside his bananas. I didn't plan to go year by year for Onision, but researching him made me want to log all the stupid things he does. I think it's fascinating to follow him, and as we go forward, I hope you enjoy the ride. It's okay if you don't, but I'm just gonna plug my Patreon here. Here are my Patreons. Thank you so much for donating. And please, there's gonna be a link below for my Patreon if you like detailed lore videos. it won't only be Mr. Onion I'm focused on, but if you want to give me support, link below. I have a really good picture of my Patreon. I came up with this the other day. Please join my Patreon. I promise to not rate you, groom you, and I'm not gonna get kicked off because I'm not gonna dox any of you. Link below. Eventually, for my $20 and up, I'm gonna make some custom art for a special thank you. I think I'm gonna call it like the Cecil McFarms $20 user patron. Yeah. We'll get into more nuttiness in the next video. And I'm sorry for those following this, I took a while more on this part. It was kind of a boring year. Not as insane as the last one, which was a little bit easier to write because it was just constant crazy. There were a lot of attacks on his exes, a lot of jealousy of other content creators in this year. 2013 is gonna be fairly similar. So, I'll see you in the next one. Suffer lightly.